Good evening. Call this meeting to order. The O&J Roberts Board of School Directors regular business meeting Monday, March 20th, 2017 at 8:00 p.m. Item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Post colors.
Colors. Forward. March. About. Face. Colors. Forward. March.
Please remain standing. Please join us in a moment of silence as we reflect on those serving in the United States Armed Forces, both past and present, the elected leaders of the state of Pennsylvania, and the elected leaders of our nation. We have much to be thankful for in our community. Please be seated. Item 3, executive session. There was an executive session held on Monday, March 20, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. in the high school library to discuss personnel matters. Item 4, superintendent's report. Dr. Christian.
Thank you, Mr. Kleinfelter. First, we'll have our item 4.1, Student Government and Executive Council President's Report. Jacob.
Thank you, Dr. Christian. So, the Student Government Report to the School Board on March 20th. For the high school, the Naturals, OGR Select a cappella group, will be competing against 9 other schools at the A Cappella at the Rock contest at Council Rock High School North on Saturday, April 1st, 2017. The high school band engaged in a concert workshop with the Kutztown University Wind Ensemble. The KU Marching Band will be participating in this year's OGR Cavalcade in October and will be the feature band at the end of the night. 3 high school Odyssey of the Mind teams attended the regional competition. All the teams placed in first place and will now advance to the state competition. For the middle school, the annual dodgeball tournament raised over $1,600 for Kyle's Quillos. Celebrate the Arts Night is scheduled for Thursday, March 23rd, beginning at 6:30 p.m. This great evening highlights musical groups and art programs at the middle school. 4 middle school Odyssey of the Mind teams attended the regional competition. They placed first, second, and 2 teams placed third. They will now advance to the state competition. In regards to all elementary schools, internationally acclaimed children's author Patricia Polacco visited all 5 elementary schools the week of March 6th. During her visit, she read aloud several of her books, shared artifacts, and entranced audiences with her storytelling. Her message was to inspire students to read, play, dream, and be kind. Congrats to the Odyssey of the Mind teams for competing in the regional competition and advancing to the state competition in April. The East Country, French Creek, and East Vincent teams all took first place. For East Country, the K-Kids' recent support of Pennies for Patients collected over $2,000. On Friday, April 7th, the 5th, and 6th grade students will be dancing the night away at the ECPTA Social. The theme for the evening is Hollywood Night. For East Vincent, the Lions Cubs were recognized for pitching in for Pennies for Patients by raising over $2,000. 2 East Vincent elementary teams participated in the CCIU STEM Design Challenge featuring Connects. The middle school division team placed third, and the elementary division team placed first. The elementary team will advance to the state championships in May. For French Creek enjoyed family game night hosted by the PTA on Friday, March 24th. For North Coventry, the Wawa on Route 724 collected over 200 children's books for the school from their patrons on Read Across America Day. The North Coventry STEM Design Challenge team received honorable mention for the problem solving and teamwork during the CCIU STEM Design Challenge. For West Vincent held a school-wide career day where students could explore potential careers through activities, playing games and listening to parents talk about their own careers. Students in kindergarten through third grade listened to high school students from TCHS talk about their careers in an assembly, and students in 4th through 6th grade attended a career fair and then had a lesson on resume writing. That concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacob. Item 4.2, student recognition. We have many talented students to recognize this evening, both in the area of athletics and in the arts. I'd like to invite Dr. Marchini forward to introduce our coaches of our wrestling and swimming teams, followed by our students that are being recognized for their success in orchestra, choral, and band. Thank you, Dr. Marchini.
Thank you, Dr. Christian. I'd like to introduce Coach DiRaffalo to present the Wrestlers Reserve Award.
I want to thank the school board, Dr. Christian, for all your support. Thank you. Our high school principal, middle school principals, they are always very supportive of us. Mr. Bretz and Mrs. Faust go out of the way to help us out. This was a wonderful group of boys to coach this year. They rose to the occasion time and time again. This year, this team went 19-4. They won the Liberty division of the pack and went undefeated in the pack. They had 4 wins this year over state-ranked teams and made it to the round of 12 at the state duels. They won the pack tournament championship. We had 5 state qualifiers, and we had 2 state semifinalists. So very quickly, I'll introduce these guys to you. We have Tyler McCutcheon, Antonio Petroselli, Ricky McCutcheon, Nick Douliakis, Griffin Gerber, Eric Shanahan, Jason Zollers, Alejandro Acosta, Jake McLeod, Ryan Resnick, Cole Meredith, David Forrest, Dan Mancini, and Luke Resnick. And thank you, gentlemen, for coming tonight, and thank you to the board for recognizing us tonight.
Thank you. Just a side comment, I've watched these students practice. I see them in the mornings every once in a while. I let me run with them in the morning, and it's no joke. I'll tell you what, it's amazing the amount of time and effort they put into everything they do, and they really deserve all the recognition we give them. I'd like to introduce Coach Bott now for the OJ Rapids swimming team.
Good evening. Thank you. Similar to Mr. DiRaffalo, a number of thank yous. I'd like to thank the school board and Dr. Christian and all the administration for the invite and the support throughout the year. Special thanks to Mr. Bretz and Mrs. Faust for their support in running a top-notch athletic program. Special thanks to the coaches, Coach Lindsay Stauffenberg, Rebecca Elliott, and volunteer Rob Kratz, for their dedication to the team and program. Parents, thank you, but most importantly, thank you to all the athletes. We'd like to introduce the ladies here this evening. Coach Stauffenberg is going to call the ladies forward in alphabetical order.
Okay, we have Kira Alderman, Haley Cargo, Lilia Crew, Kate Dietrich, Jen Dinaseni, Laurel Fink, Madison Gadzicki, Grace Gerard, Ella Greenholm, Morgan Hansen, Riley Hansen, Emily Hughes, Brianna Curley, Quinn Kratz, Lily Cole, Alexis Little, Nina Flamiano, Riley Moran, Meredith Mutter, Michaela Dennis, Alexa Lukey, Veronica Roach, and Helena Van Etten.
These 23 ladies were a tremendous pleasure to coach throughout the course of the year. They had a perfect record within our league, 9-0 overall, and were league champions. We had 8 qualifiers for the district competition, which was about 1/3 of the team. We also had Morgan Hansen, who moved on to the state competition in the 100 butterfly and 200 individual medley. She set team records in both those events. Meredith Mutter also set a new team record in the 100 breaststroke this year for us. And we just found at the state championship meet this past weekend, Morgan Hansen placed 7th in the 100 butterfly and earned an All-American consideration time in the process. Overall, the ladies produced 11 top 10 times in school history in their various events. So we're very proud of their efforts throughout the course of this year. You should be proud of yourselves. Congratulations. Similar to the girls' team, well, not similar exactly. We had 23 boys this year. Paul, you will walk in alphabetical order: Ryan Overton, John Arditi, Logan Baker, Will Blackledge, Ryan Boker, Simon Crew, Dan DiMarino, Aiden Dunn, Hayden Fink, Anthony Fiorito, Max Gallagher, Dan Gerhardt, Adam Burrell, Jackson Keating, Ryan King, Robin Mallon, Carter Dennis, Matt Rance, Jordan Roach, Jack Savant, Max Spider, Stephen Lasky, and Jordan Zakarovich. Similar to the ladies, they were also had an identical record, 9-0 in the league. This was their 3rd consecutive Pac-10 or Pac championship in a row. Obviously, a lot of our work and dedication goes in. 9 individuals qualified for the district competition, which was about 40% of the individuals. And one of the highlights that the boys had this year was they set a new pool record in the 400 freestyle relay. And those individuals were Ryan Boker, Jordan Roach, Simon Crew, and Logan Baker. Overall, pleasure to coach, and they had to get themselves excited and ready for all the meets, and they're dressed pretty sharp too. So congratulations to them. Thank you. Thank you all, administration, for your support throughout the course of the year.
Along with our athletic accomplishments, we also have a number of students who have excelled in the area of music. I'd like to congratulate those students who qualified for the PMEA Region 6 Orchestra under the direction of Martin Prescott. Dan DiMarino, I think Emma's here today. Tonight, you come up. Come on up. Daniel Horning, and Madeline Simmons, cello. Emma qualified in the flute. Daniel qualified in the trumpet. Congratulations also to the high school band students who are qualifying for the PMEA District 12 Band Festival. David Beiser for the trombone, Linda Burns for the bass clarinet, Emma for the flute, and Daniel also for the trumpet. Under the direction of Todd Mengel, I thank him for his hard work. Congratulations to the following high school choral students for qualifying for the PMEA District 12 Choir Festival. Many students are here: Dan DiMarino, Rebecca Emery, Alina Feldman, Madison Frederick, Maxwell Gallagher, Lucas Gray, Cheyenne Hales. Oh, you are? Oh, awesome. Cheyenne Hills, Sandra Marks, please. There you are. Emily Wright, Jordan Roach, and Katie Roberts. They also qualified, this is for the PMA Region 6, and qualified for the PMA All-State Chorus. Also, congratulations to Dan DiMarino, Violin 1, Conrad Seger, Bass 1, qualifying participants in the All-Eastern Region Orchestra. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Todd Mangle is the band director, and Sheila McIntyre is also for choral, does a fine job. Thank you very much, Dr. Christian.
Thank you, Dr. Marchini. Before we move on to the next agenda item, is Mrs. Recton here? Mrs. Recton, if you would make your way over to the doors, I would like to invite each of our groups that were recognized this evening for group pictures and parent pictures out in the lobby area so that we can have them not only posted on the website, but in our next advocate that goes out to the entire community. Obviously, we have talent not only in the athletic arena, but certainly in the arts and music as well as the academic arena. So congratulations to all of our athletes this evening and our music and band performers as well. Thank you, and thank you for coming out this evening. Mrs. Recton?
All right, let's take this picture quick. Jesus. Sorry.
Thank you. Item 4.3, the superintendent's report. A couple of announcements regarding the school calendar. We have used both snow days that were built into the 16-17 school calendar. Therefore, Thursday and Friday, June 8th and 9th, will be half days, with the last day of school tentatively scheduled for June 9th. If we have to use a third snow day, and we're hopeful that we will not, school will be in session on Wednesday, April 12th. If a fourth snow day is used, then school will be in session on Thursday, April 13th. Any additional days will be added on to the end of the school year. As of now, graduation is set and will remain on June 9th, which is a Friday. Also related to the school calendar, students and staff, provided there's no more snow, will be off for spring break from April 12th through the 17th. The district will be closed April 14th and 17th. Regarding PSSA testing, that is coming up. The window for PSSA testing in grades 3 through 8 will begin in early April. April 3rd through 7th will be grades 3 through 8 for English language arts, and then our math assessment and science assessments take place in late April because of where the spring break falls, and science takes place in early May. Regarding some of our clubs, first I would like to talk about crew, since that's been a subject for a past couple of meetings and in the press. For months, there's been discussion regarding access to the rowing club, and as I stated last month, the district believes the rowing club has been a positive experience for many of our students. The school district's position remains fairly straightforward. In order to have district support, we expect equal access for all students. Regarding our drama club and the musical this past weekend, congratulations to the cast and crew of Cinderella for their outstanding performances this past weekend. They had 4 shows from Thursday through Sunday. All of the kids did a fantastic job and should be commended. Not only do we have about approximately 50 students involved on the stage, but we had another 15 or 20 kids in the crew, and then about 5 to 10 kids helping with lighting and sound. So really, and another 10 children at least in the orchestra pit. So truly a showcase of our students' abilities. Thank you, and that concludes my report, Mr. Kleinfelder.
Thank you, Dr. Christian. Item 5, public comment. Information, proposals, and statements for individuals or delegations pertaining to items on the agenda. Speakers are to indicate your name, township of residence, and the item or items on the agenda to which your comments are to address. Speakers will be limited to not more than 3 minutes. Item 6, Board Committee Reports. Committee of the Whole. The next Committee of the Whole meeting will be held on Monday, March 27, 2017 at 6 p.m. in the Administration Building Boardroom. Item 6.2, Buildings and Grounds. Mrs. Booth.
Thank you, Mr. Kleinfelder. A Buildings and Grounds meeting was held at 6 p.m. in the Administration Building Boardroom. Minutes from the November 7, 2016 B&G meeting were approved. Agenda items included East Vincent Elementary School and East Coventry Elementary School facilities improvements project updates and construction project cost summaries. The French Creek Elementary School's 2017 summer replacement roof project, as well as general discussion of district properties, all occurred. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting will be held Monday, May 1st, 2017, in Administration Building Boardroom at 6 p.m. B&G issues appearing on tonight's agenda are under New Business, item number 13.7, approval of professional and/or maintenance agreements. Maintenance agreement with 3M Cogent Incorporated of Dallas, Texas for approval of an approval of a preventative agreement with D. Armstrong Installations of Harleysville, PA, for inspection and maintenance of varying district equipment. I'd like to make just a quick comment on updates. Last week's visitation from Old Man Winter temporarily stalled progress at the East Coventry Elementary School construction site. It is ongoing again. We're happy about that. And we are still in pursuit of the East Vincent Township new facility occupancy permit for a variety of issues. Please do not forget to review our facilities upgrades projects downloaded in district website homepage drop-down menu About Us portal. Construction projects. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mrs. Booth. Item 6.3, Chester County Intermediate Report. Mrs. Barkis.
I don't have a report this month because our meeting, which was supposed to be held on March 15th last Wednesday, was canceled due to the weather. So we'll be meeting in April, so I'll provide my report then.
Thank you, Mrs. Barkis. Item 6.4, Curriculum Instruction. Mrs. Wolf.
Thank you. Because of Mr. Lecoff's retirement, I will now be chair of Curriculum and Instruction, so anybody who has any questions or whatever, you can contact me. And next week, on Monday, with our Committee of the Whole, we will be addressing curriculum items. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wolf. Item 6.5, Finance Committee. Mr. Freeze.
Mr. President, no report at this time. Just one comment as a reminder that on April 3rd, the Finance will have a meeting held at 6 o'clock at the Administration Building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Item 6.6, Legislative and Policy Committee. Mrs. Huzzard.
Yes, we have 6 policies that are requiring approval for their second reading and Section 13.1, and our next meeting is going to be on May 1st. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Huzzard. Item 6.7, Personnel Committee. Mr. Hughes. Thank you. Item 7, Recommended Routine Matters. Item 7.1, motion to approve recommended routine matters. These are consent items. Items 7.2 through 7.10.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Freeze, second by Mrs. Barkis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 8, approval of routine matters. These are consent items. Motion to approve routine matters, items 8.2 through 8.5.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Freeze, second by Mrs. Booth. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9, Board Communications. Mrs. Crumrine.
There are no communications, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 10, Board Discussion. Are there any items for Board Discussion? I do want to echo Dr. Christian's comments on the musical. I thought that the students did a fantastic job. As you're sitting there in the audience, to realize that all of the things that are going on, with the students in the play, not to mention you have a live orchestra going on, and it's all seamless. It's just, I was just in awe. So I congratulate everybody that participated, and even the people from behind the scenes. It was a fantastic job.
Mr. President, one thing I wanted to say was on Friday night when the power went out, the students didn't even slow down. They just kept going. The generator kicked on, the house lights came on a little bit, and it was just interesting to see that it didn't even faze them. It was a seamless show, so everyone that was involved did a great job. Thank you.
Item 11, old business. There is none. Item 12, new business. Item 12.1, motion to approve personnel matters. These are consent items 12.2 through 12.10.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Booth, second by Mrs. Huzzard. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 13, new business. 13.1, approval of policies for second reading. Mrs.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Hauser, second by Mrs. Booth. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. (13.2) Ratification of homebound instruction.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Booth, second by Mr. Hughes. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 13.3, approval of confidential settlement agreement and release.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Barkis, second by Mrs. Booth. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 13.4, approval of out-of-state and overnight student trips.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hughes, second by Mrs. Barkis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 13.5, approval of conference attendance.
So.
Second.
Is that Mrs. Huzzard? Motion by Mrs. Huzzard, second by Mrs. Barkis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 13.6, approval for award of request for proposals for copier service.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Booth, second by Mrs. Barkis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 13.7, approval of professional services and/or maintenance agreements.
So moved.
Mrs. Booth.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Booth, second by Mrs. Barkis. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 13, a motion to appoint a new school director. We can either take individual nominations from the 8 candidates we interviewed, or we can take a motion for all.
I move we put all into nomination.
Okay. And I believe we don't need a second on that, so we will take all 8 into consideration. How this is going to work is we will do a roll call vote. Each individual board member will be called, and they will vote for the candidate that they would prefer to appoint to the board. Actually, I can read the 8 names in a minute. We need a candidate needs 8 votes to be appointed to the board. After the first round, if we don't have, we need 5 votes of the board members to have a candidate appointed. After the first round, if we don't have 5, we will take either the top or 2 or 3 vote getters, assuming there's a tie, into second round to resolve the appointment. So the candidates are Mrs. Bartolami, Trevor Budd, Clifford DeFleur, Gary Dorenzo, Christine Ludwig, Carl Miner, Robert Rasmussen, and last is William Keenan. Mrs. Crumrine.
Thank you. I'll do a roll call vote. Please state who you would like to appoint as school board director. Mrs. Barkis?
Mrs. Bartolami. And if I pronounce that wrong, I apologize.
Mrs. Booth?
Mr. Clifford DeFore.
Mr. Freeze?
All excellent candidates. I'd like to nominate Mr. DeFore.
Thank you. Mr. Hughes?
Mr. DeFore.
Mrs. Huzzard?
Mrs. Bertolami.
Mrs. McCreary?
Mrs. Bertolami.
Mrs. Wolf?
Mr. DeFore.
Mr. Kleinfelter?
Mr. DeFore.
That's 5 votes for Mr. DeFore, who will be our new board member.
So I make a motion to appoint Mr. DeFore as the school director for the Owen J. Roberts School District. His term will expire, I believe, on December 4th, 2017. We just need to it's over.
We don't need a motion because the vote.
We did
All
the
right,
roll
so
call.
by vote, Mr. DeFore was declared the winner. Mr. DeFore, congratulations. If you could contact Donna Brady, the secretary of the superintendent. She'll work through you with orientation. You'll need to make an appointment with the local district judge to be sworn in, and then once you're sworn in, you'll be able to participate in school board matters. Thank you. Would you like to say something, or put you on the spot? But
yeah, I'd like to thank the board. Thank you very much for bringing me through. I look forward to it. And I was told in the occasions like this, you should just say thank you and sit down.
Item 14, public comment. Information, proposal statements, and or questions from individuals or delegations to pertaining to any item. Speakers are to indicate their name and township of residence. Speakers will be limited to not more than 3 minutes. Before we get started, I ask that we will keep time, and we ask that everybody respectfully keep to the 3 minutes. I believe there will be, that way everybody can get an opportunity to speak.
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Herzog from Warwick Township. Good evening, everyone, Mr. President. I just want to inform you tonight about the progress and the exploration that Unionville Chadds Ford School District is doing on the school start time issue, in case you're not aware of that. They formed a school start time committee in November. They had 30 people on it. They met 9 times over 4 months. They just finished up in March, and they made a recommendation that high school and middle school move 25 minutes later to a start time of 8 a.m. The elementary school will also start later at 9:10. So this is what they could do as a beginning. Some of the folks hope to change it to a full 8:30 a.m. start time for high school and middle school later, but this is their step one. So they are now doing, that's the committee recommendation. They are now doing a community rollout with presentations to the PTO, 3 different times and places of meetings for the PTOs, 4 different times and places for open community meetings, 4 different times and places for staff and transportation staff, and 2 meetings for students. All of that to present the information, discuss why they made this recommendation, support it with their research, etc. They're also doing a community input survey, and they will take all of this, when all that is complete and in, the committee will then present to the board in mid-April, and the board is very interested in this issue and is expected to approve it. And if that does happen, that will be approved at their April board meeting, and the change will occur in August of 2017. So they did it very quickly, and they will be the first ones to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Herzog.
My name is Beth Garvey.
I don't think you're on.
I'm not on?
Is it green?
Hold it up. Just hold it closer to your mouth.
Is it-
They can hear. Got it.
All
Okay,
right.
good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to meet and speak with you tonight. Thank you all for your continued effort in providing the students of Owen J. Roberts with a safe and enjoyable school experience. The following statements have been compiled to represent a group of parents who are in support of the OJR Crew Club. The viewpoints that will be presented tonight do not represent any of the board of directors of the Crew Club, but rather represent a group of supportive parents, and they are not solely my opinions or comments. I was asked to read the statement for the group. We're here tonight not to create or foster an argument, as the Mercury article reported recently, but as a collective group of parents of these and other OJR Crew student athletes to show support for the club and defend the public perception recently portrayed negatively in the local media. The old adage of the squeaky wheel gets the grease has certainly prevailed with the 2 recent local newspaper articles in the Reading Eagle and the Pottstown Mercury that have followed the last 2 school board meetings. Both articles were written with an extremely negative and slanted perspective representing the views of a small group of upset parents. Our goal tonight is to represent the majority of club parents and counterbalance the negativity that has developed toward the club and its members by highlighting the many positive aspects of the Owen J. Roberts Crew Club. The Crew Club has done a great job of getting started from scratch 7 years ago and continues to grow each year. The club has and continues to introduce a new sport to many student athletes who otherwise would not have learned to row. And while not an official varsity OJR sport supported by the school district funding and resources, the club has enabled OJR student athletes to proudly represent the OJR as they compete against other area schools. These student athletes, sitting here, and many others over the past year have learned a lot. For example, how to work together as a team. They have learned that hard work and persistence pays off, and there have been many who have won medals at events. The club has enabled many to row at a collegiate level, and oftentimes being rewarded with scholarships or financial aid. The club teaches the athletes respect, not only for the sport, but also for each other, coaches, parents, other athletes and clubs, and the event officials. The club has taught and modeled inclusiveness by allowing student athletes across 4 grade levels to interact as equals, regardless of being novice or an experienced rower. And the club upholds the importance of the student athletes to keep their grades up. by using the guidelines used by the school-sanctioned sports. The student athletes stick together as a team at regattas and can be seen truly enjoying each other's company, laughing, singing.
Can you wrap up, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Want me to repeat it all?
No.
Start over again? Okay. These students athletes have developed a passion for the sport, and most of them would know nothing about if not for the existence of the OJR Crew Club. As parents, we too have benefited from the club in many ways, as new friendships are cultivated and the camaraderie shared, especially at Regatta Day, where parents pull together to create a great environment for the entire team to enjoy. It's the majority of parents who have and continue to have a very positive crew experience, thanks to the club. As a parent-funded club, the majority of the parents also feel that we receive a fair return on investment for the dues that we pay. In closing, we thank you again for listening to our point of view. We hope this has provided a balanced perspective. We ask for your support to encourage the signing of the team roster, just as it had been signed for the past several years, to enable the student athletes of OJR to experience a broader range of regatta events. Signing the roster does not commit the school district or taxpayers to any funding, nor does it serve as an endorsement of the club, as the club can continue to operate as a parent-funded club. Signing the roster simply confirms their attendance at OJR High School and enables the student athletes more opportunities to continue their passion and proudly represent the OJR community in a wide variety of events this coming season. Thank you again for your time tonight. Can we count on you for your support with the majority of the club and encourage the signing of the roster, just as it had been for the past several years? As originally stated, we are not here to argue. It is our understanding that all concerns have been addressed.
Can I get your name?
Beth Garvey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Please remind you that for the speakers to indicate their name, the township of residence, and we want to limit the comments to 3 minutes, please.
Hi, my name is Hannah Tabinas. I'm from East Coventry Township. I've been rowing for the OJR Crew Club for almost 4 years. It has come to my attention that the school board will not allow I'm sorry. I understand that the school board will not sign off on us racing in any of the scholastic races that occur on Boathouse Row. Rowing at these races, I believe, is an extremely important experience for the club and its rowers. Rowing on Boathouse Row is a crucial part of the rowing experience for a number of reasons. It expands and opens opportunities for the kids to not only get recruited, but to meet people and expand their community of rowing people. Many athletes in the past years have gone to college with rowing scholarships that have helped them pay for school. As a senior, this affects my chances of being recruited. And for the upcoming juniors and sophomores, junior year is the year you start to apply for schools, and you have to get in contact with coaches, and if you don't have the opportunity to see them or talk to them in person, it's harder. I feel like this opportunity is being taken away from the club and its members. The board is neglecting to see that their actions are affecting the other team members. I hope the board will reconsider its decisions to allow our crew club to participate in scholastic races this upcoming spring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we respond?
Well, you can.
Can I respond? So, I, first of all, admire your ability to come up and speak from your heart. That full respect to everything that you're going to say, that you said, and everyone else that follows you. You guys have a lot of heart. I just want to make it clear that the school board isn't saying that we can't sign your paper. We're supporting administration's decision not to sign your paper. So I just want to make sure that that's clear before the next person speaks, just so that you are as informed as you should be.
But Mrs. Barkis, it is the final decision is the board.
That's not correct.
Yes, it is. We give permission to the administration. It's the board makes. They could not proceed without our
Dr. Marchini
approval.
made the decision. Dr. Christian supported Dr. Marchini's decision, and he asked for our support.
Which
we did
means
not
he could-
make a voted approval for this decision.
But neither Dr. Christian nor Dr. Marchini could make that decision without board approval. We were asked for the approval, and we gave it.
We were asked for support for that decision, Mrs. Wolf. I respectfully disagree with you. I understand the point of view of why administration is declining to sign it. I support it. However, I think that the people in the audience need to know that we're not voting or making that decision for our administrators. Do we support it as a collective board? I believe I can speak for all of us when we say yes, and I would love to explain why, and maybe now is not the time. However, I never said that I made the decision for Dr. Marchini to make his administration decision not to sign the paper. So that's clear.
Right, Dr. Chris? Or you want to move on?
Finish public comment.
All right.
There's an opportunity for board information on the next.
Okay. All right. Any more public comment?
My name is Marissa Venezia. I am in North Coventry Township. I'm currently a sophomore. My experience with the rowing team has been nothing but positive in my 1.5 years on the team. Everyone is paying attention to the parents involved, and it's almost as if they have completely forgotten about the students and that their decisions are impacting. If this club is disbanded due to the actions of minuscule parents, it will destroy all the good things that the club has built over the last 8 years. Recently, only the negative side of these issues are being shown, and this rowing team has been ripped apart by the media. And as a student, my own friends have come up to me with questions about what is happening with the crew team. They only know what their parents have told them or what they have read about in the local papers, and I have no idea what to say to them because those articles are one-sided and do not tell the full story. It is horrible what is happening within this club and what is happening to the amazing opportunities this team is offering students. The rowing club is so much more positive than these few people and media are making it out to be, and I do not think that myself and the rest of the students on the team should be penalized for the harmful opinions of a small group of parents. I truly believe that rowing is an amazing sport and everything it has to offer. The opportunities that have been given to me and to many other students by the rowing club and the board members of the club are truly incredible.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lauren Edelman. I live in the East Vincent Township, and I'm Kim Edelman's daughter. I'm a part of the rowing team. I have been experiencing the rowing team for as long as it has been started. It's been a part of my family for the past 7 years. My sister was introduced to it, and she told my mom that she was interested. She wanted to start the program at the team, at the school. And so for those of you that have read the paper, the comments by teachers regarding the team, which are belligerent, they're wrong, they're blatantly ignorant. My mother started the team. It was my sister's idea. It was a passion. It was something she wanted for all the students to experience. And I'm very proud to go to ONJ. I love this school. I've been a part of it my entire life. I'm a part of the Cat Pack. I'm a leader of the Cat Pack. I have a lot of school spirit. I love this school, and I am proud to be a Wildcat. But ever since these papers have been coming out, you know, the writing towards my mother, towards the rowing team, these comments from teachers that I walk past in the hallways, I am no longer as proud to be a part of this school because I have to walk through the hallways with my head down, with headphones in. I am scared for people to walk up to me and make comments about my mother, things that they read in the paper about someone else, from someone else, and their own opinion. They barely even know her. That is my mother. I live with her. I know her better than anyone else. And it's just wrong that I have to walk through the hallways scared of being commented towards about my mom. That is ridiculous. And the thing that these papers do, it's called spinning. It's a political tactic. It's something to keep you interested in the paper, and it is ridiculous because they get it from one point of view. A story has two sides, and they're only getting one side. And I think it's just ridiculous. So please take my opinion and the things that my family have gone through for these past months for this ridiculous nonsense. There's no reason for it. Just take it into consideration. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to item 15, board request for information. Dr. Christian, you want to make a comment?
Certainly, Mr. Kleinfelder. I'd like to thank those of you who spoke tonight. Certainly. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Giango, and I've been in front of you all before, and I would just like to say I agree with a lot of the comments with the kids of the OJR rowing team. It was a great team, and I loved rowing for my school until I was wrongly excluded, and I want to row scholastically how all they want to, except I can't do that, and I just want to say thank you to the administration for realizing that all kids row for their school or no kids do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Christian.
Thank you, Mr. Kleinfelter. Certainly can appreciate our students' and parents' passion for the sport and for the pride in their school. The district needs to support programs that are all-inclusive for all students. These decisions don't come lightly. We certainly have tried to mediate. And to my knowledge, the dispute between the crew board, not the parents who have spoken tonight, and the family that were formerly members has not been resolved. The administration informed the crew board some time ago that if the club would like the district's support, which comes in the form of signing the Scholastic sponsorship form, participation by said student should be granted first, and any disagreements among parents should be settled separately. It's not easy. It's certainly not easy to hear, but we need to offer programs that are all-inclusive, and we need to support programs that are all-inclusive. We hope that there still could be time for mediation and for a settlement, but that needs to happen first. Thank you.
Any other board requests for information? Item 16, adjournment. We are adjourned. Item 17, future meetings as dates that are listed.